Hello everybody, welcome to Bonsai Therapy. This is my kitchen, back here. Well, all of it is. It's my kitchen. And get used to it because you are going to see this kitchen a lot because this is where I'm going to be doing my experiments with bonsai, with my trees. I don't have bonsai. I have trees that I will try to turn into bonsai. But right now, I just want them to grow, to develop. It's springtime, so let's let the trees grow. There's like some stuff that we're gonna have to do with them. And yes, we're gonna be like a learning experience for me doing this and reading your comments too, of course, and with suggestions and stuff like that, so I can improve doing this bonsai thingy. Thingy is actually a word that you guys are going to hear a lot because my first language is Portuguese, and I've been in the United States for 20 years, and there are some words that my accent kind of works them in a different way. There is some, I gotta shave. There is some words that I get confused sometimes. It's like a funny thing now. I've been here for 20 years, and I'm getting, better with the English part of it, and I'm forgetting words. I'm forgetting my Portuguese vocabulary a little bit, and I don't know if you guys remember, I said the last time I have multiple sclerosis, and sometimes it's kind of weird, like to remember stuff and to focus, and don't get surprised if I'm speaking English in one moment to the other. I kind of just switch to Portuguese because that's how my brain works right now, and well, there's nothing we can do. We gotta live with it, and make the best out of it. Today, I want to talk to you guys about tools. Well, basically, my tools. All my tools are in this bag. Well, they're organized in a certain way. There's stuff inside the bag, so it's like a surprise. Now, tools. Tools are, of course, very important for bonsai. One of the things that are the most important things. It's like you have to be careful with your tools. You have to treat them right, and be careful not to drop them. You have to be careful, like, to keep them sharp. You have to be careful, and to me, this is one of the most important things because a tool takes a little bit to lose its edge, like lose its sharpness. And but there's one thing that's very important, especially when you're working with like several trees. It's always disinfect, like clean the tools after you use them, or between trees when you're using working on one tree and then you go to another tree right away. Just clean them up, disinfect them, get some alcohol, just scrub them, and it's fine. I do that a lot. It's one of those things that I never forget. Another thing, and if I forget to go there, I need you guys to remind me, or it will come randomly. That's how I work. It goes like this, and I think I just forgot what I was going to say. It has to do, it has to do with those carbon steel tools, and that's a funny thing. It's not really funny because we don't want anybody to have a bad experience. But carbon steel tools, those black metal tools, they rust if you leave them outside, in the rain, or if you leave them in a place with some humidity. They don't like humidity. They start rusting, and that's not a good thing. You don't want that to happen, because then you have extra work to bring those tools back to shape. You got to clean them, you got to sharpen them, and it's kind of messed up. One of the things that I have to tell you, because I cannot like drive that much anymore, or I cannot be like walking around that much anymore. I usually buy my tools, and because I'm in a township where there's not a lot of like bonsai stuff. I don't even know like if there's a store that sells bonsai stuff here. I usually, what I do, I go on internet. I buy them on my tools on Amazon. And Amazon people go, oh, because about this shear, and this shear is it's worthless, you know. It was like I've been robbed, blah 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 blah, because it got all rusted and stuff like that, and they give him like a 1 star or no stars at all, like on the comments. And when you buy a tool, you need to actually know what you are buying, like the quality of the tool, the good things about the tool, the bad things about the tool, because tools are like that. And then you feel like better, feel more comfortable working with either carbon steel or just a regular stainless steel, and that's your own way. And as you develop with your bonsai, you will figure it out what you like to use more. For me personally, I love the look of carbon steel. They're pretty, man. Those carbon steel shears and the tools are pretty. Like that black and the metal part of them. I'm going to show you the only carbon steel that I actually have. Um, but because, again, with my MS, I tend to forget stuff, and I'm going to be working on a tree. I forget my carbon steel tools outside, and it's going to be a mess. So you have to adjust your tools. Like in my case, I had to adjust my tools to my handicaps, and I got to know what I can trust and what I cannot trust. And at this point of my life right now with my disease, I don't even think I can trust myself. So I gotta play it safe. So these are my tools are in this bag. This bag is pretty cool. I like it because it keeps like everything together. And I don't really have a lot of tools. I really don't. And these are not like the tools that are the bonsai tools. Like most of them are not really bonsai tools. It's whatever I can afford, whatever works better for me, and whatever I can get, like, basically. And because bonsai can be very expensive, some of these tools are very expensive, and you have to be like on the lookout and try to figure out what you can afford and what you cannot afford, and for the skill that you have at the moment, and for your what you really want to do, like bonsai wise. If you want to do like big trees, if you want to do small trees, or if you want to, if you're certain that you want to keep doing bonsai, or it's not just like one of those things that is going to pop, and then you're gonna be like, I don't like this, and then you're stuck with like hundreds of dollars that you spent on tools. And that's not really cool. So the bag is empty. Let's see. Oops, like I got one of my scissors that is not on my tool roll, so it's just inside the bag. It's kind of loose. I got some stuff in there. It's kind of loose. And I'm going to start with this one. This is definitely not a bonsai tool, but I love this. Do you know why? Because it's like it's a drop thingy. You can count the drops, and sometimes when you're mixing liquid fertilizer, it's always good to have something to count the drops that you're dropping on the water, so you have a nice mix, especially when you are just starting and you don't really have that sense of proportion. So this is awesome. I use this because I like to use like super trap, and this is very good. Super trap is like something that like 1 or 2 drops, 4 or 5, it makes a big difference. So you need to know. So this is like baby stuff, and it can be very useful. You never know, and it's cheap, so there's not a lot of money you're going to be spending in there. Another thing, and this is probably, I wouldn't say the most important tools, but you can actually do an entire tree or 10 trees, 20 trees with this thing. It's like a seccator. This is like a pruner. This cuts well. You can prune your leaves on top of the tree. You can cut branches. You can style your tree with this thingy here, and it's going to be enough for you if you really just starting, and you really don't know like the little details. What is this for? What is that for? This is pretty cool. You can do this a lot. Make sure to lock it. You know, you got like a little thingy there to lock it. You can buy this at on any box store anywhere. This is easy to find, and it's not very expensive. Another thing that I'm going to go there. I'm going to try to get this thing in a sequence on the tools, so that I don't start mixing tools back and forth. Now another tool that is not really for bonsai, but you can use it too. It's like this little snipper. You can go and cut leaves. This thing cuts leaves, cuts branches. This is pretty cool. And if you don't want to be like spending money on an expensive shear, this is cool too, like to do like those more detailed pieces of work that you're not going to make with the secateurs here, because you don't want to be like trimming small leaves and small branches and taking like small leaves with this. It's a little too heavy and it's kind of big, so you can just go with this one and just snip it, and you'll be fine. This is a little lock thingy too. That mine it's already a little messed up, so it's not working that well, but it still does the job pretty well, so shouldn't worry about this thing. Now let's go to some other stuff that you can get. Like, let's say that you're wiring your tree and you need wire cutters. Wire cutters, like bonsai wire cutters, are usually pretty expensive, and and when you're starting, again, you don't want to be like spending hundreds of dollars like to buy that kind of like very specialized tools. So this is a regular wire cutter. I like it because I don't know if you can see it. I gotta get used to this camera. Okay, it's not, this one is not really like pointy. He has like this little kind of flat edge over there. It's pretty cool, because when you cut the wire close to the tree, to the branch, or close to the trunk of the tree, you're not going to risk like injuring the tree when you're cutting. So yeah, this is for wires. This is pretty cool, pretty useful, and yeah, and it's like not a bonsai tool, but it can be a bonsai tool if you wanted to use it on a bonsai. Whatever, you'll do just fine with this thing, and that's it. Now another thing that I like, and this is one is pretty dirty already because I've been like poking on the dirt with it, and that's what I use. It's like Chinese food, like sticks. I forgot the name of this thing. It's gonna come up, and yeah, this is wood. You can get these chopsticks. There you go, chopsticks. This is wood. This is perfectly fine, and this is used to when you're repotting and you're putting the soil in, and then you want to make sure that you don't have air pockets. You just go and work the soil with chopsticks. They have like chopsticks in plastic chopsticks. They have metal chopsticks, but we have the wood chopsticks are fine, and you're gonna be like very picky with your stuff. Again, it's nice to have like a metal one, plastic one, but these ones do exactly the same job, and they're cheap. They're cheap, like just it's not gonna bring you down to a lot of money. I want to show you we're gonna make sure that the tools don't stop falling. This is my tool roll, back of it, inside of it. I bought this thing. This thing is awesome. It's a shame that when I bought this one, I should have bought like a bigger one, because when you start like getting a tool, another tool, another tool, another tool, this thing starts adding up, and it doesn't fit. All the stuff doesn't fit, and that's why I have the little canvas bag that actually came with this to put some like of my loose tools. Oh, when we spoke about shears, I wanna, since we were like talking about that stuff before, I wanna show you another shear that I have. This is very cheap. This is so cheap that I don't like it. I don't like it that much, because first, because I oiled it and it's still, you see, I like some little resistance to this thing. It doesn't open and close very easy. You use a little effort to keep it up and down. This one is like, you can probably like cut roots with this. You can trim the tree, like to give it like a profile trimming. And I don't like it. A good one is, it's awesome to have, but this one here, I honestly, I don't like it. And you know, when one of the things, when I go look for my tools, I look at the way that they're finished. And one of the things is, it's like, so maybe it's like paranoid for me, but one of the things that I look is like, here, you see over here, I don't like these things to be like, to have a space between this and this. They have a gap, so but they're like, you see the gap there. And this way, when you are working, you put your finger, and your finger is always hitting like that gap, like the top of the metal, and it hurts, man. After a while, it kind of hurts a little bit. So when I'm buying shears, I always look at, one of the first things that I look, it's at this. Like this kind of messes me up. I don't like it. Like it kind of, if I see a tool like that I plan to buy, and if any of the options there have this is my first no. I'm not getting it. And well, this one came with some other stuff, so it was like, yeah, all the package, so it's worthless. There's another thing that I use, and these are pretty cool. Maybe like to just replace the one, and maybe to replace this one a little bit. It doesn't do the job, but it kind of works. This is what, well, I told you one day that I liked on the first video that I used to be an EMT. Well, after September 11, I'm sorry, I told you that I was a journalist. After September 11, I quit journalism and I became an EMT. I kind of, you know, started volunteering when things bring another, and I loved it, and I became an EMT. I've been an EMT for like 15 years, and then I had to stop because I couldn't work anymore, and because of my disease. You know, there's lots of lifting and a lot of, like, you know, concentration and to know what you're doing, like all that stuff. Don't worry, I'm not bugging myself. It's still farther, and these are the shears that we use to cut, like, this is awesome to cut, like, clothes when there's a fracture, and the fracture is inside, and you want to cut, like, you just go with this thing. This thing cuts like everything. This cuts metal. This goes like through everything. So you can imagine how good this is, like, to deal with wood and stuff like bonsai stuff. And this one's actually kind of work way better than those crappy ones that I just showed you. And this is like the only, well, this one is carbon steel, black carbon steel. You leave this thing outside, humidity, rain, water, it's gonna rust. So it's not the manufacturer's fault, it's gonna be your fault because you didn't take care of it as you should. This is my baby. I love this one. I just got this one. You see the difference? Look, it goes, closes, opens, and has a nice sound to it. It's the blades. These are very good. This is a wakashishi, Japanese scissor. I don't even know if wakashishi is like good or not. It's very, it was cheap. It was like $14, I think. And yeah, it's I like it. I use it to you know, trim like the leaves and stuff like that. Trim some branches. You know, I love this tool because it looks good. It's a beautiful tool. And you see the difference. Let me show you the difference again. Like, the difference between this one, the handles on this one are completely closed up, and the handles on this one, you see like the difference. Oops, I'm sorry. My hands sometimes don't obey. And this one here, see the gap in here? and the gap in here doesn't exist at all. So, you know, it's one of the things, like the finishing is important when you're dealing with tools and you're dealing with trees, and your hands are going to be on these tools a lot. So you want them to be comfortable and not risk like injury, like getting hurt, getting like, you know, skin cuts and stuff like that. Okay, these are my shears that I have. There's like some shears that I kind of plan to buy, but right now, you know, there's so much I can go crazy on, and yeah, and we're gonna wait. This is a concave cutter. You know, it's concave. There's like this little round thingy here. There we go again, thingy. That's why I kind of told you right away about my English handicap. So there's, see on the side, this is the side of it. This one's when you cut like close to the trunk, this is going to leave like a flush cut, and the tree then kind of feels better around that flush cut. And this is actually knob cutter too. This is one of those multiple use tools that you can use for like more than one thing. Cutting branches, cutting trunks. You can even go and do the roots. That's why I kind of like carbon. I'm sorry, stainless steel. When you know, in certain areas that you're gonna mess with humid and wet parts of the tree, you know, I like to have this one because I know that it's not gonna rust if I forget to clean it. And that was a concave cutter. This is a straight cutter. Straight cutter is a bit different because it's, well, it's straight. You can see like that. This is not round at all. It's not like as round as the other one. It's more like straight, and you cut it straight. You get this one here, and this one here. So you see the difference of it. Like this one is more round, and this one is flat on top. So they're different. Yeah, it's mostly like for branches and you know, like when you want to cut like a branch closer to the trunk, what I usually do, this is my first cut that I cut it like a little, not really kind of close to it, and then I go with this one to get the flush cut, and I kind of finish the cut with this one. And these are basically my tools, and oh, I got this thing too. It's like a knife, and you can use this knife for a lot of stuff around the tree. You can use it for like perfect your cuts a little bit more, like flatten them a little bit more, carving with this thing. You know, you can actually carve with it a little bit. It's fine. And like there's like specialized tools to carve, and those ones are really good. But my bonsai activity didn't let me, or doesn't take me to carving trees a lot yet. So, you know, I'm not really spending them right now. I can just wait a little bit more. And this is a rake. It's a two-pronged rake. There are like rakes. There are like three pronged ones instead of having like this one. They're a little wider because they have a third one. And oh, I'm sorry, two. And then they have a third one, and you know, I like this two-pronged one because I don't know, like it's not going to be like in my idea. It's not really going to be hurting like the roots that much, like when you are like cleaning the roots or straightening the roots around in a radial pattern. I think this one is probably better. I don't know. There's some people, as I said, it depends how comfortable you feel with the tools, and you know how comfortable you feel with the way you work, and that'd be fine. And there's a little spatula kind of thingy here. This I use this to when I'm repotting and I want to take the tree out of the pot. this one is pretty cool, like just to go between the pot and the soil and just loosen the soil around the pot, and it's perfect. It's fine. It's really good. It's really good. And these tools, you know, none of the tools that I show you cost me more than $40. It's like, I think that probably the most expensive until now was this, the concave cutter. It just cost me like 30 something dollars, $32, $33, and it's made in China. Well, I don't know. I think it's made in China. All these three tools. This is like from a brand that I like it. You know, it's been working fine. So there's no point in switching. It's Mutian or Tian Bonsai. You can find it on the internet. You can find it on Amazon. You know, the tools are very good. Like they're resistant. They come oiled and all this stuff. And I'm not getting any money for saying this, but I'm just helping you guys out. Find it easy to find your tools. Now another tool that I use a lot, again because of my MS. Oh, I gotta go there. Wait a little second. Stay with the kitchen. Let me see if I don't get all the way out. Going I will. Another tool that I use a lot. It's like it's awesome. It's awesome because, you know, my glasses. My glasses are a tool that I use a lot. These are like to see close. You know, like to. I use these glasses all the time when I'm doing my trees because my vision is not as good as it was before. Blame it on the MS, blame it on the medication, blaming on whatever you want, but the fact is you need to adapt, and you know, so that you can still do your stuff. Now the last tool I want to show you. This is cool. Like, no, you're not like a detective, right? But it's pretty cool because, well, you know, when you need to go and look for aphids, all those small little pests that, you know, like to bother your trees and start like creating havoc on those trees. Well, I need this. I like this. I just go and I like this. And you know what? Another thing that I liked with this thing, that's kind of stupid, but you know, I love it. I like, and I'm gonna show you on another video. I'm gonna show you my trees, and you're gonna realize why I actually need this stuff. And it's because, you know, when I'm planting seeds, I like to see, like, I follow like the seeds like every single day. I might go there, you know, and I look at the seeds, and then when the seed sprouts, I go like with this thing, and I start looking. Oh man, this is coming up. You know, it's like one of those cool things, man. Like bonsai is cool, and I guess like in all the phases of growing and styling and stuff like that. And you know, you can enjoy it a lot. Like it's a really good thing to keep your mind away from problems, away from your issues. Like you're distracted, you're thinking about other stuff that's not like, okay, my head hurts, my hands are a mess, you know, I can feel my arm, or you know, or I got like pain is like on my shoulders or my joints. You just go and look at the tree and relax, have a coffee, pop a pill, you know, smoke some weed or whatever. This is like awesome. And you'll be fine, man. It's just like the way you deal with life, and the way you deal with life, you have to find ways to make you feel not only good with yourself, but good with the world around you, and help you like deal with your issues in a way that you are not like taking it on the people that surround you. That's not another problem with MS. It's like we have mood changes. Like right now, you know, I'm nice. I'm like jumping around. I'm happy. The next second, don't talk to me because hell is gonna break loose. And what I do, I just go outside. before I had the trees, I would just jump on the car, like drive and stuff like that. No, I go outside, I check my trees, or I just sit in the couch, pick up a few trees, and like on the coffee table, put them on the coffee table, like look around and look at the trees, and okay, and kill the trees because I gotta like okay, start like pruning here, pruning there, pruning everywhere, and the poor tree, no, it's not gonna last too long if you prune too much, and I think that was like my problem in the beginning. I kind of thought that the trees were like indestructible, and they would always fight back, and they don't, especially like with trees like that you keep indoors, and but that's another story that we can talk about it like later in other videos, because I don't want to be like here talking about nonsense like all day, and then you guys are gonna get bored, and I don't want anybody to get bored. So I want everybody to be happy, be cool, have fun, stay sharp, and live your life, and do that stuff that you like, and then find new stuff you like. Just enjoy, because there's always, I mean, say like not everything in the world is bad. Not everything that happens to you is bad, even when it looks like it's bad. There's like something that has to be good. There's something that is going to keep you happy and make you happy, or just take one smile, out of you, and that's the moment you have to cherish. So be good, have a good one, and we'll see you. I'll see you again. Hopefully soon, and we'll see how it goes. Have a good day.